Hi, I'm Derek Littlewood. I'm Studio Design Director at Sumo's Nottingham studio.
Derek, what are you showing new here with Team Sonic Racing?
Today we're showing basically a complete full build of the game. So it's got all of the modes, all the characters, all of the different race modes and mechanics in the game for everyone to try today.
So can you talk about how the boost mechanics in this game work? Because it's different from All Stars Racing Transformed.
Yeah, so we have the sorts of mechanics you expect in a racing game, kart racing games. So we've got drifting, we've got stunts you can do that give you boosts, we've got wisps that you can collect that give you boosts, things like that. We've also got a whole team play system in the game, which is completely new and unique in Team Sonic Racing, and that allows you to work together with your teammates to get increased boosts, to get other advantages that allow you and your teammates to win races together.
Can you talk about specifically the drifting boost, how that works? Is it a timer? Because in some of the Mario Kart games, if you went back and forth, you'd get boost.
Yeah, it's a time-based thing based on certain time drifting in a particular direction. You can charge up to a level 3 boost, which gives you the most powerful boost you can get from a drift. You can also get similar boosts from stunts as well. So if you perform 3 stunts in a row while you're in the air, then you also get a level 3 boost out of that as well.
You guys have 3 different classes of racer. You have speed, technique, and power. Can you go a little bit into detail about each one and how they work together?
Yeah, so the speed, technique, and power characters, they have different stat abilities. So obviously the speed type characters, they have the highest top speed. Technique characters have better handling, better acceleration. Power characters are more about defense and boosting. All of the different character types though also have their own special abilities. So speed type characters, they can create a radial burst when they're finished drifting. That'll knock projectiles out of the air, so it's an excellent defensive capability. Technique characters, they can travel across rough surfaces without losing speed. So, you can kind of create yourself like little shortcuts on certain tracks across like grassy verges and things. And then you've got the power characters who can break through hazards on the tracks without losing any speed. So each of them has their own kind of particular optimal route across every single track. And another interesting thing is when you start setting up teams that have mixes of these characters, there's all sorts of interesting synergies between them that you find from that as well.
We're one of the only teams using speed, technique, and power character, and there was a lot of synergy in the meta while we were racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of a good example of that is one of our team abilities is the skin boost, where if you spin out or are moving slowly, a teammate passes by you at full speed, they'll catapult you back up to almost full speed yourself. If you're a non-technique character and you hit a rough patch, you're going to be moving slowly through that rough bit of the track. But if a technique character teammate of yours passes by you at that same time, they don't slow down because they can pass across rough surfaces without losing speed. So they give you a skin boost at that point and they can catapult you out of that rough and back into the race.
So how did you guys decide on what characters are going to make an appearance in Team Sonic Racing? Because now Sonic has a huge family nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long kind of debate about which characters were most appropriate. Some of it was about which ones fitted best in teams, so we wanted to have teams that felt balanced. I mean, obviously, the Sonic universe kind of lends itself to teams anyway because of games like Sonic Heroes, so things like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles were an obvious team. Some of the others were less obvious, and we had to kind of figure out how best to mix them together to make sure there was a character of each type within each team. But the other thing was just like which characters were our favourites and which ones we wanted to see. I mean, I was really keen to make sure we had a Chow character in the game. And initially we started off and we actually had the Chow. The original idea was that the Chow were going to be characters, kind of companions for you, to kind of sit on your vehicle and help you with trading items and things like that. And then Sega came to us and said, actually, we'd prefer them to be racing. We said, well, how would that work? Because the Chow are tiny and they can't really drive. And they said, well, obviously 3 of the Chow in a vehicle driving together, that would be fine. And we're like, okay, well, how do they communicate? Because they don't speak English. And they said, well, obviously Omo Chow would have to be there to communicate for them as well. So we ended up, things like that were real kind of, we wanted to have those characters. So it was a battle of which characters made most sense and which ones as fans that we really most wanted to see.
You guys also got Big the Cat in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't not have Big the Cat. I mean, he's such a fan favourite. And he works really well as a power type character. So, he was a really good fit for the game. He was definitely one that we always wanted to have on the roster.
Can you talk about some of the tracks as well? Because you guys have over 21 tracks in the game?
Yeah, 21 tracks split across 7 different zones, 3 tracks in each zone. All of the tracks within each zone are quite distinct. So they have similar themes, but they all look quite unique individually. And Yeah, I mean, those zones are a mix of kind of classic favourites that people will recognise from previous games, and a whole load of new tracks that still draw from Sonic history. And I think we've drawn quite liberally from different games. So I think we go back as far as about Sonic 3, but we've also got much more up-to-date locations like things like Planet Wisp and stuff as well. So a good spread, and we hope there's something there for all Sonic fans to enjoy.
From a design standpoint, how difficult was it to make a co-op competitive racing game?
Really hard, really hard. A lot of the challenge we faced initially was about player expectations, because when people come to a racing game, they expect to be able to go flat out, race for themselves, and their finishing position is all their work. So trying to introduce a team play experience that allowed people to do that, but still allowed them to enhance that experience by playing with the team, that was the really challenging bit. And I think over time we learned that we didn't want to stand in the way of people racing like that. I mean, you couldn't have people having to slow down and things. They had to be going flat out. They had to be firing wisps. But it was about implementing the team experience in a way that allowed them to enhance their ability to do that. So you want to go as fast as you can in a racing game. Well, the way to do that in Team Sonic Racing is to be working with your team that allows you to go even faster than you can individually, and ultimately finish in a higher position than you would have done if you were working just on your own.
Favorite racer and why?
Totally Tails, because I grew up gaming in the 90s, and I still have really clear memories of watching Mega Drive. I was stood in a games store and watching a Mega Drive running Sonic 2 and seeing Tails there. And an interesting thing with that is that even back then, the Sonic series had elements of teamwork. When you see Tails helicoptering Sonic to safety, I think you can even see kind of elements of the experience that today we've been able to deliver in Team Sonic Racing.
When does your game come out, and what platforms will it be on?
It's coming out in May, and it's going to be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.